guys, book lovers and storytellers, welcome to another session here in Readers Magnet's featured author interview. And we are very happy to let you know that today is our seventh day of our virtual book fair, the Festival of Storytellers Season 3. My name is Leah, and I am your host for today. And with me is one of the Readers Magnet's featured author, and of course, our one of the valuable author we have. Today, he will be sharing to us what this book is all about, him being an author, and of course, what inspired him to write this book. Let's all welcome our one and only Mr. Scott Rahn, author of The Book of It. Hello, Scott. How are you doing?
Hello, Leah. I'm doing pretty good.
That's good to hear, Mr. Scott. So yes, here, Scott. No, this is the moment that we've been waiting for. I am very excited to have this interview with you, and of course, I'm pretty sure that you're fans too. So yes, Scott, can you tell us a bit of information about you as an author?
Well, as an author, that was kind of an accident. Um,
Oh.
I no, I the book of it is actually taken from notes and things learned from both life experiences and things I've studied over the years. Well, trying to track down the source of a thread that seems to run through all of history. It's just something. Well, my friends and I just started calling it, and by the time came, I had the makings of a book, or found I did. I still didn't have a name for it. And so it just got named It. So the book is about that journey, things I've learned, places I've been. I mean, the book itself is full of riddles, puzzles, metaphors, um, things to give a reader thought. It's arranged as a set of short stories
Mhm.
that each one can be read independently, and then, but they're all connected. So the whole book is a book, although at times it may not seem totally coherent that way. But it's set up to make people think about things, want to go and find some things out for themselves, not just accept what I
Mm.
say or other people said that is sometimes even contrary to what I say.
Okay, wow. I like what I'm hearing, Scott. And you know what? That's very interesting. Do you have your book with you right now? Can you show it to our viewers?
Yeah, that's well, the poster size one
Yeah, it's
behind
actually on
me,
the back as well. Yeah, right. The
and
poster.
if I can get it without glare,
Mm-hmm. Yes, there
that's
you go,
whoop,
guys. This is Scott's book.
that's
Uh-huh.
the book.
Yes. So yes, Scott, we wanted to know about this creation. Again, let's start from the title. The Book of It. You mentioned earlier that you're actually having some struggles in creating the title, right? Now, having this one, which is already published, can you tell us what does that mean? I mean, where did it all started? And what's the inspiration of writing this book?
The book itself, I had called myself a reluctant author. It's just for years, some friends of mine and I used to get together and talk about different things we were studying or whatever. I mean, I'm curious about everything. And well, as
Mhm.
one friend put it, I have the answers to things that other people haven't even thought of. So it ended up just a group of us talking about certain commonalities that run through history, be they legends, pieces of history, stories, philosophies, religions. And when we started talking about it, well,
Mhm.
we just called it It. And then we come up with it. We're going to find out where it began. We never could find a beginning. And when I was injured and was noting in another book what became kind of a textbook version and kind of, well, probably boring to most readers,
Mhm.
the idea came to write a book kind of based on the way they used to do things in like ancient Greece, etc. There's narrations and stuff meant to be presented to a population that couldn't read, so it would hold their interest. And the so each chapter became its own story, but all the stories together are still their own story, still connected.
Mhm.
And as far as the inspiration to actually write it, I went once the manuscript was written, I just felt compelled to. Well, actually, I put it on a shelf. I didn't have a lot of faith in it, and a friend of mine took it and read it about
Mhm.
15 years later. So, this is really good. You should try and get it published. So that's what I did.
Mhm.
Uh, and since I was asked earlier, yeah, it's kind of a highlight of being an author is actually
Mhm.
getting a book published, especially your first time around.
Mhm.
And Page Publishing published it. It's doesn't have an audio version, but it is available. Basically, every bookstore can get it through Ingram distributors, and every digital format has it. You just
Mhm.
have to find it.
Wow. You know what, Scott? I really like what I'm hearing. Because the way I understand your book is, it is the kind of book that's showing the naked truth about writers and authors facing nowadays. You know, the journey, the experience that you've also encountered from the past, right? That really sounds interesting, Scott. And here, by being inspired by, by your friends, what are the other things that pushes you to really, to really share this piece?
I guess sharing of knowledge. It's the
I
same
like that.
thing that's motivated storytellers for centuries.
Mhm.
If I know this story and I keep it to myself, then when I'm gone, it's gone. And there's a chance that it may be carried on if I publish it and somebody reads it, or even if it sits on a shelf and somebody stumbles over it by accident years later. It's still a chance for that story not to go away when I go away. And that's
Mhm,
really
that's
about all there is to the reasoning.
yes, I really like this story. You know, it's also based on your own experience, Scott, from being, just a normal person to writing a book and have it published. I love what we uncover, some of the things, the stories behind you writing this book. And I know that those things you've actually shared earlier, Scott, is what really makes the book so interesting and, of course, captivating. And that being said, Scott, I mean, what was the the highlight of writing this book, and also what is the significance of the title?
The highlight of writing it, I still have to say, is getting it published, knowing it's out there. The significance of the title, I've never given a lot of thought to the title as being significant, especially with the
Mhm.
contents. It's just the title, although it presents its own puzzle,
Mhm.
is it's not like when you say the book of it, it sounds like some definitive beginning to end story, and that's not the case at all. The
Well,
story runs, I don't know. The story may never end. It may
mhm.
be more defined always. I don't know.
Mhm. Yeah. And
One
you know
of
what,
those.
Scott? Right. One of the good thing about your book, I can tell that it's actually a complete set of, again, sharing journey of one's writer, one's author, as well as the experiences. I this is actually one of the highlight of your book. Having it published, sharing your knowledge to among as many people, it's a good thing. And in your own words, Scott, I also wanted to know, how do you think, writing this kind of, let's say, this kind of books empowers individuals, especially to our our aspiring authors out there? So let's say, to where, I mean, having that courage in sharing their experiences in writing, what can you say to them?
I would say, as in all things, if you
Mm-hmm.
write it and you complete it, you know, put it down for a while, pick it up, read it again, see how you feel about it, and then, like I did, find somebody you trust to read it.
Hmm.
Then, if they like it and you start hunting for a publisher, be determined. Don't be afraid of being turned down. You're going to get turned down no matter what you wrote. And the fact I got this book published means pretty much there's publishers out there for anybody. It's just a matter of connecting with them.
Mhm.
Um,
Right. Very well said, Scott. You just telling them to really trust the process when it comes to writing, um, as well as showing themselves, and how to express themselves for writing. It's actually a good thing. Right now, Scott, I wanted you to also take this opportunity to also give message to those people whom you've also wanted to discover your book, and of course to those people whom you've also helped for your book.
to the reader, uh, I think I always put in the when I autograph a copy, I always write "Good hunting." That's you know the whole object is to make you curious enough to go and look for things. Uh, be open minded. The beginning is the the idea. You have to have a set idea, and you have to kind of know what you're talking about. It's like all things. That's why it's kind of woven in with the um, my experience is woven in with the data I learned, or I came across something, and maybe it's something in a book. I thought, well, that can't be real. And then I came across enough of it in my real life. As well, maybe it is real,
Hmm.
type of thing. And that applies well to anything. And if you have knowledge of what you're writing about, you really like what you're writing about, I certainly believe that there's no problem finding somebody to publish as long as you like the first one or two rejection slips. You say, oh, well, it must be no good. I must be wrong. Well, that's not true. You just haven't found the right publisher yet. I said, be determined, stick to it.
Right.
Um, don't be afraid. I mean, even in today's world, my original manuscripts was submitted typewritten. There's not there's so many openings out there for a new author
Right.
that it's very difficult for me to say it's not possible to see a book published because, well, look at what's in a bookstore. There's books on
Mm-hmm.
all topics, all fields, sets of experiences. And, even if people don't agree with what you wrote, you got the chance to find there's somebody somewhere that does.
Absolutely. That's truly inspiring, Scott. And you know what? I also wanted everyone, our viewers, who's watching us right now. This is actually the reason why we have Mr. Scott Rahn. And of course, Mr. Scott Rahn, we wanted to really say thank you so much for also choosing Reader's Magnet to be part of this journey. We really appreciate it, and we are very honored to have you in our Reader's Magnet family. So, yes, Scott, it was really an interesting discussion with you. Thank you so much for gracing with us today. And yes, everyone, Mr. Scott Rahn, author of The Book of It. His book is available in Amazon.com, Barnes& Noble, and of course his website, that's going to be www.sran.com. And yes, you may also follow him on all the social media platform he has. Thank you so much, Mr. Scott. Again, as we say it here in Reader's Magnet, we share your story with the world. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.